Okay, welcome back to the Adventure Within channel. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm a clairvoyant healer and meditation teacher. And today's topic is going to be on the energy of surrender. This is something that I'm kind of taking a look at and currently examining different aspects of my life. And just thought it'd be fun to do a video on this particular topic. You know, one of the first things I notice with deciding to surrender is that you start to get yourself out of effort. And I'm sure that's an energy and just the experience of being in effort that we can all relate to. Really to paint a picture for you, it sometimes can feel like pushing a big boulder up a hill, a very steep hill, and it's tough, exerting a lot of energy, and sometimes it seems like we're not really getting anywhere, or we're not making any progress with that. So it can be a relief to surrender and get yourself out of effort. Effort is a quality of the ego, and as you get yourself out of effort, you're perhaps moving towards non-effort, which is a quality of spirit. With getting out of effort, for some people that could be tough, because if you're so used to being in effort in your life, that could be a tough thing to kind of move more into a space of non-effort, especially if everyone else around you is in effort, and that's the thing that's really reinforced and really validated, within your community, whether it's family and friends and people, co-workers in the workspace and just the town or whatnot. If everybody's kind of matched in and kind of, this is how we go about doing things and survive, and this is just the way that we know, and it's the way that's always been. It's, if you if you suddenly unmatch and start making your way towards non-effort, that might raise some eyebrows. People might have a little attention on you. People are gonna go, hey, well, what's up with you? So that can sometimes upset people, or maybe jealousy. That could be one thing. So you might handle some energy about stepping out of effort, but in general, it's going to be, for you, it's going to be a relief, more than likely, moving more into a space of non-effort. Another thing with when you decide or choose to surrender is that you start to step out of resistance. So another quality of ego, and this is resistance. You're going against the experience. You're going against an energy, or you're fighting against something, whatever that might be. And that tends to kind of really tie up our energy and really kind of dam up the work, so to speak. It can also be a relief to surrender and step out of the resistance and move more towards non-resistance. But this too can also kind of light up some fears, perhaps. You might, if I'm fighting the big bad wolf, whatever that really is, and I decide to surrender and stop fighting, oh no, how am I going to be perceived? Am I going to be perceived as a coward, or am I going to be perceived as weak in some way? If I surrender, does the big bad wolf, do they win? And then perhaps I lose, and that can't really be, that's not what I'm wanting. That can't be good, right? And you really got to examine kind of in your own meditation and look at, well, if fighting the big bad wolf, whatever that is this really serving you? Or are you benefiting from this at all? And, if the answer is no, well, then you start to look at, well, if I step out of resistance towards the big bad wolf, whatever that is, get out of the fight, well, what changes? What do I get to have? And, usually that answer, whatever that answer is for you, that will probably be inspiring enough to go, okay, I'm going to wave the white flag here. I don't want to spend any more time or my own energy, fighting this thing, where I can just kind of just let it be. And that's really a big component of surrendering, right? You're letting go, which is very liberating and freeing to let go. And, that also can light up fear, right? Just kind of letting go. And, letting go can look different for each person and at the different aspects of their life. If you, on an emotional level, if you decide to surrender, perhaps, this is just an example, you might let go of some lower emotions that you've been like holding on and kind of, you kind of became, if you will, I'm pissed, I'm upset, and that's not really true. You're not the emotion. And I'm sure, if we realize we have the choice to go, oh, I don't like being angry. I don't like being in this state of anger. Although anger, can be useful and constructive, you might not want to stay in the state of anger. Or even lower emotions, or just like, just depression or despair or whatever it is. You might go, oh, okay, if I have an alternative to being in this kind of low emotional state, so to speak, I'm going to choose kind of one of the higher rungs of the ladder, right? I want to get out of this. So that too can be a relief. So you're starting to notice this pattern of, oh, okay, if I surrender, there's quite a bit of relief. Maybe we should sell that in stores instead of the bad things that don't do well for us. At a pharmacy, we'll just label something surrender, and we'll call that relief, or pain relief. Anyway, on another level, deciding to surrender, you might remove protection around an aspect of yourself. And sometimes those protections have served us in the past, but you get to a certain point where it doesn't really serve you anymore. It's actually covering up the real you, right? And so that could be kind of, again, freeing and liberating to, okay, I surrender at this level or this aspect of my life, and removing certain protections, and there's more freedom to just be yourself. Or at another level, if you decide to surrender, maybe there's more permission to speak freely, or speak how you want, or about whatever you want. Maybe there's more at another level. If you choose to surrender, there's more freedom to see more clearly. Instead of seeing things more blurry or kind of skewed in some way, you get to see things with much greater clarity. At another level, and again, these are just examples, it's really, you can look within your own self and see, oh, if I decide to surrender, in general, or if you're looking specifically in certain parts of your life, you'll get your answers about that. I'm just kind of giving you general examples. But another one might be, if I decide to surrender, then maybe that means, again, part of surrendering is letting go. Maybe letting go other people's plans for yourself. Sometimes whether it's family or parents or whomever you grew up with, they might have these big dreams for you, big plans that kind of dictate kind of, or set the tone of different aspects of your life. And maybe that gives you permission to let those go, instead of again fighting that. Maybe that's the big bad wolf for you, and going against that, and sometimes realizing, oh, wait a second, if I'm, I don't have to fight this. I could just let it go. I could just let it be. And that frees up your energy and your attention to kind of look elsewhere. And if at that level I'm kind of speaking on, then, oh, well, what if you start to look way more within and get in touch with that higher part of you, your higher self, that kind of personal North Star of yours, and get in touch with your own purpose. What's your mock-up for this specific lifetime? So again, you're kind of probably noticing, wow, there's a lot of potential for benefits to actually surrender. But ultimately, it's just deciding, looking within your own self, and hey, does this look good for me to surrender? And you'll get your answer on that. One of the things with letting go is we might start to release an energy or energies, right? Again, everything is energy. And sometimes by doing that induces a growth period, right? And, what's a growth period? There's an energetic shift that takes place, right? In this case, you maybe perhaps let go of some energy, and it takes time for your body to catch up to this, right? Typically, what I've learned and how I've teach things is, when you let go, you want to kind of, bring in your own light and your own energy and your truth to replace whatever foreign energy that's been there, whether it's in a chakra in the body or wherever, right? And so you go through this growth period. So again, there could be fear about getting out of your comfort zone and being in this state of growth. It can be awkward and kind of uncomfortable, and then you start to, usually if you're in your comfort zone, there's a sense of, you kind of know there's more predictability, right? And so when you get into your growth period, there's more uncertainty. And you're just kind of not sure, and it's not, a bad thing. It's just that again, this is really the beauty of clairvoyance, is when you can start to, you start to get familiar with growth periods, but you can start to look at the whole process of the growth period of, okay, I'm now inducing this growth period. I've let go of energy and bringing more of my energy back. And then, what are you growing towards? And you can kind of see it kind of on a small picture level of where you're headed, and then sometimes there's the bigger picture of, what are these growth periods all about? What are we growing towards? And for most people, growth period after growth period, and these growth periods get bigger, they're not going to be the same, and they're not going to get smaller, they're going to get bigger and bigger. It's think of it as, if you're like a mountain climber, you choose a certain height, and you knock that out, and then you go, oh, okay, well, I want to do something a little more challenging next time. I've conquered this. If I do something the same, maybe that's not as exciting. I'm not going to learn as much from that. But if I did a completely different mountain that's maybe a little taller, okay, that poses more challenges, so that's more greater growth. That's more things to learn from. It can be like that. But you will get the bigger picture, and you'll start to notice, oh, okay, yeah, I'm growing towards, you're growing towards your dreams and your mock-ups for this life. More and more you get in alignment to your higher self and start listening to that part of yourself, and you get enough certainty and trust in that part of yourself where you start to act on it, and little by little, stepping stone by stepping stone, your higher self says, okay, let's move forward, and then you move forward. And that being on the path of your higher self, when you get on that path, that can appear very scary. That can appear, but also very exciting. It's like getting, it's like being Indiana Jones, and like, wow, this is going to be kind of terrifying, and there's a great deal of unknown, but this is going to be adventure, and this is exciting, and this is really fun. That's kind of what I've noticed is the path of the higher self. Choosing the path of your own truth and spirit, as opposed to kind of relying on, the analytical mind and going kind of just the route of the ego and your programming and all that. I tend to find when you go that route, it appears as more as like the safe bet. And so initially it can be like, okay, yeah, this is good, this is the safe bet. But the further you go down that path, you start to quickly realize the disappointments, just being upset and just being angry. So it might, it could be a route of keeping you safe, but it's tend to find ultimately not fulfilling. You're gonna find yourself in the lower emotions going down that route. Whereas when you choose the higher self, it's initially going to be kind of scary. There's a great deal of unknown. So you're going to have to get your space with just kind of not knowing, and just kind of, all right, I'm going to trust, right? And I'm just step by step. And each step you take, things become kind of more clear and clearer. But like I said, again, when you have your clairvoyant ability on, that's really helpful. Even with that ability turned on, sometimes you don't know every little detail of every little thing, and I think that's kind of the fun part. It'd be kind of a little boring if you knew everything that was going to happen precisely and kind of step by step. Sometimes just having kind of a general sense of the energy of what's going on, where your head is really great. But sometimes that element of magic and surprise and miracles, that's, to me, that's really exciting. So, but yeah, that's a little about surrender. Hopefully that wasn't too long, but yeah, leave in the comments below, you know, like, is this something that you're working on right now in your own life? Is there something you're trying to get out of effort with, or fighting against, or just trying to let go? And yeah, leave a comment, and then I'll see you in the next video.